Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world that we live in. And today we're going to talk about Madeline Kingsbury. And I don't know if you remember, this is a case that we covered last year extensively. Madeline disappeared into thin air, like women do sometimes. And suspicion was on her partner, Adam Fravel. And it took quite a long time to find Madeline's remains, unfortunately, but they were found, and Adam was immediately charged with her murder. Now, of course, he had said, no, nothing to do with him, doesn't know anything about it, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah, usual sort of thing. Anyway, his trial's coming up. His trial is next month, next month, October. And I'm going to just give you some updates, what's going on, what's likely to happen, etc., while it's all sort of coming together now, preparing for the trial. So let's chat. Okay, so do you remember this case? If you've been a follower of mine for a long time, you may well remember it. But luckily, Madeline's remains were found, because at the time when it was all happening, it was around the time of the Nicola Bulley case. It was in March last year, not this March just gone, the March before. And one of my subscribers from America sent me a message and said, look, we've got, because at the time I think Nicola was either still missing or it was all sort of, going on fresh in everyone's minds. And she said, we've got a similar case here in America with Madeline Kingsbury. So I started following this case, and, it's a different case from Nicola's, of course, but it was similar in that it was a mum who had just disappeared off the face of the earth. So we started following this case, and we followed it right up to when Adam was arrested. And we will follow it through the trial as much as we can and hope that justice for Maddi is achieved. Of course, it doesn't bring Maddi back, but at least her family did have... it was so lucky that they found Madeline, Maddi, as they call it, because it was so remote, the area, and it was just a policeman. It was just good police work, persistence, keep searching, searching in all those areas that are difficult to access. And she was found, at least unfortunately deceased, because Adam, her boyfriend, not only was he going all over him and his family. I mean, what a really nasty piece of work he is, because he and his family were all over Facebook saying, "Oh no, nothing to do with me," no idea, because Madeline and Adam were estranged, but they were still living in the same house, unfortunately, until they actually separated properly. So of course he said, no, it was amicable split, like they do. He was saying, nothing to do with him. He has no idea why Madeline had disappeared. And when he was even going, while people were searching for Madeline, because not only the police were searching for her, but, friends, family, the public, etc. Everybody was helping in the search for Maddi. Let's get him off there. And that twonk, he was going round harassing the people that were searching for her, mooning at them, you know, doing disgusting things. That's the sort of person Adam Fravel is. And then he was, after Madeline was found, and not after she was found, because I think immediately her remains were actually found, he was arrested. But during this time, he was fighting for custody of the children. You know, he was like, it was the Madeline's family's worst nightmare was that he would get custody, and he was going to court hearings, applying for custody. But luckily, thankfully, he was arrested, and that put a stop to all that. And this is Madeline with one of her children. I'm not sure how many children she has. We'll find out in a minute, because we're going to go for, you know, it's quite long. So it's over a year ago, probably the last time that I reported on this crime. Madeline's family like privacy, so you know, I won't be doing lots of updates on this. I won't be able to, actually, but I'll explain that in a minute. So let me just say hello to everybody. Say hello to everybody, then I'm going to get started. So thanks for, so I need to say my thank yous as well. I'm on my second coffee, not quite woken up yet. I'm getting there. Thank you to my subscribers, to all the people who like my videos, everyone who leaves a nice comment, sends me a message, everyone who sends super stickers or buys Ko-fis or PayPals me. It really means a lot to me. Very, very much means a lot to me. You know, it's a funny time with YouTube for me at the moment. Not, you know, anyway, without going into details, but it's a funny time in the sense of it's, you know, YouTube's a strange place, isn't it? So sometimes it's quite a difficult place. It's quite difficult emotionally, mentally, sometimes, to be a YouTuber. You know, you feel like you're putting a lot of work for little recompense, but the recompense that I get is when people send me nice messages and things, and then I realize that I'm doing it for a reason. So thank you so much for that. Okay, let's take the banner off. Yes, it's a mad world. If you think the world's gone mad, the YouTube world is even madder. It's like, you know, my son says to me, look, you take it to heart, you know, it's just like, it's just YouTube, it's just the internet. But, you know, of course, it's the generation that I'm from, it's difficult for me. Okay, let me say hello to everybody. So I can see there's a lot of chat in there. Chumba, can you stop saying that about the avatar? When I use the avatar, it's because I can't be bothered getting myself dressed up, because I've got a lot of things going on and whatever. And when you make those comments, I don't like it. So I've tried to sort of let you know that by deleting your comments or ignoring you, but you just keep going on about it. I really do not like it. I find it offensive what you say. So please don't do that. Okay, hi Admit, hi David. Hi, Chumba. Hi, Admit. Oh, I'm saying hi to Admit again. Yes, I'm always putting my lipstick on. Hi, Daniel. Even when I'm on the avatar, I've got my lipstick on. Hi, Kelly. Oh, right, there you go. Just, it's so offensive. So offensive. Hi, Jojo. Hi, Annie. Hi, Mia. Hi, Wesley. Hi, Fluffy. Yes, Annie. Oh my God, as soon as I do a video about Nickel Bully, it's like all the trolls come flooding out. What is it? And how are they even still noticing my channel after all this time? Are they just sat there waiting? Oh, wait till Vicky Marie does a new video about Nicola Bulley and then come out from under our rocks. It's really weird. Yeah, but it's offensive, Chum, because it's, you know, as a woman on YouTube, you get sort of people saying weird things to you. You just don't expect it from a woman. And, you know, I've tried to sort of ignore it, but it's just fell on deaf ears. So, no, I don't like those comments at all. So anyway, there you go. I'm just telling you straight now. So sorry if it offends you, but that's the way it is. Okay, especially when I'm talking about, you know, women who've been murdered and stuff like that. It's inappropriate. Inappropriate, completely inappropriate. Sorry. Okay, so let's get on talking about Maddi and what's going on. So I'm going to just refresh your memory about the about what happened to poor Madeline. So this is we're going to have a little look at the timeline of her disappearance. So Madeline Kingsbury, 26, went missing on March the 31st. So this was last year. And her body was finally found off a remote Minnesota highway on June the 7th. And Adam Fravel, the father of Maddi's children, is believed to have been the last person to see her alive. And then after law enforcement found her remains, they arrested him and charged him with 2 counts. 2 counts of second-degree murder. I'm not really sure how that works. 2 counts of second-degree murder in connection to Maddi's death. Gosh, was she pregnant? I don't think she was pregnant. How could he be charged with 2 counts? Anyway, I don't know if that's just a typo or if there's more to it. Because of course, you know, now with the trial coming up, there's a lot of things probably we'll find out that we didn't know before. So here's what we know so far about Maddi's disappearance. So as I say, if you were following me then, you know, over a year ago, you may remember this case, but it's been a long time since I've done a video about this case. So at 8 a.m, Maddi dropped off her 2 children at daycare with their father in her 2014 Blue Chrysler Town and County. Now, that was confirmed by the daycare. Maddi went with Adam because don't forget they were still living together, even though they were separating. The relationship supposedly was over, but they were living together because, of course, sometimes it's difficult, isn't it, to find somewhere else to live. So, you know, unfortunately for Maddi, maybe she just didn't have anywhere else to go. And you know, it's a shame, but I'd just say to anybody who's out there who might be watching this video, if you split from your partner, male or female, to be honest, try and get out, because even if they appear to be, you know, amicable, etc., this, you know, all the crime videos I've done, you know, it so often happens that even when someone's pretending to be amicable, they literally are not, you know, so you don't know what they're planning or plotting. And when you're in the house with them like that, it's so, especially, I mean, and it turns out that Adam had been violent in the past, you know, so there was history with Adam of not being very nice to Maddi. So, yeah. Anyway, 8:15 a.m, she returned to her home on the 400 block of Kerry Drive in Winona. Her sister Megan told Fox 9 it was at this time she received the last text message from Maddi. I'm just going to put a picture up, actually. I'll put a picture up while I'm reading this out, because I want us to look at Maddi, because you know, she just these videos that I do, that are the never forget videos. You know, we can never forget I mean, her trial's coming up, and then he'll get his sentence, and you know, in another year, You know, will people be thinking about Maddi? I mean, obviously her family will still be thinking about Maddi. But, you know, I think we always need to remember these cases, especially domestic violence and things like that, because, you know, if it just saves one person, somebody watching this who maybe has split up from their partner and he's living with them because that's convenient at the moment, you know, might make them more inclined to get out, you know. So anyway, where was I? So she received the last text message at 8:15 a.m. From Maddi, who was at her home at the time. And she said, the text was just laughing in response to a funny photo I had sent the night before from a trip she and I took to Rhode Island last summer. No one else heard from her after that. 10 a.m., so not long after, only an hour and 45 minutes, the children's father, Adam Fravel, told the police he left the home around 10 a.m. in a dark van. And I think he actually went in Maddi's van. So he took Maddi's own van to dump her body. And when he returned home later in the day, he claimed that Maddi was not there. So this was his story. He went out to run some errands in Maddi's van. He said she told him, oh, take the van, take the van. And then when he came back, I think it was later that afternoon, she wasn't there. She disappeared into thin air. Anyway, then apparently sometime between 10 a.m. and 1:30, police said a van matching Maddi's was driven on County Road 12 and Highway 43 in Winona County, and then southbound on Highway 43 through the eastern part of Fillmore County. Then the van travelled back towards Winona on Highway 43 and remained in the driveway of the home from 1:30 onward. So police did not say who was driving the van, but I think you can more or less gather that it would have been Adam. So at some undetermined time, Maddi failed to show up at work in the Mayo Clinic in Rochester. I forgot to say where this was, didn't I? This is in Rochester, what's the actual name of where she disappeared from? Minnesota, yeah, Winona in Minnesota in the USA. Let's have a look on the map, because I normally like to show you more, you know, more or less well, because if you're anything like me and you're rubbish with geography. Right, so Minnesota. I don't know much about Minnesota. Minnesota City, Rochester. Let's share the tab. Wisconsin, over in Wisconsin. So you've got Utah's here, Denver, Colorado, and Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Winona is here. Rochester is where Maddi was supposed to arrive that day, and she was reported that she didn't come. So yeah, so it's sort of over this way. I mean, it's not far from Canada, is it? They've got that sort of accent there, haven't they? They've got more of a Canadian accent. I have noticed that. I suppose there's so many different accents in America because it's so big. I mean, even in the UK, which is a tiny place, we've got all our different accents. Of course, America is so much bigger. Oh, I just realised I'll be showing that to you, but I've got the picture of Maddi up there, so sorry. Let's go back to it again. I'll just show you again. So, yeah, I forgot the picture of Maddi was up there. Yeah, Winona. Rochester, etc. Okay, so let's go back to the timeline. So she failed to show up at work in the Mayo Clinic in Rochester Friday morning, and she's got 2 children, never picked up her 2 children from daycare that afternoon or made alternative arrangements for someone else too. Let me go back to this tab now. Police said the children are safe. So the children, those poor children, so they've lost their mum, of course, and they've lost their dad now as well, because whatever happens, I don't think there's a death penalty in that area. But, he's not going to be coming out for a long, long time, is he? So those parents are now effectively orphans. Anyway, Maddi's family tried to contact her through the day on Friday, but had no luck, which she said was out of character for her not to respond. We realised that night, on the Friday night, when no one had heard from her all day, which is highly unusual. So that's when we started to have a growing concern. That's what her sister told Fox 9. So police then searched Maddi's home, found her cell phone, her wallet with ID, and the jacket she was wearing earlier in the day. They also searched the van, but they did not say if anything was found. I mean, he's another bloody criminal mastermind, isn't he? If he's going to try and say that, I mean, lucky for us, lucky for everyone that he is thick, because if he was trying to show that Maddi had run away, well, she's not going to run away without a phone, a wallet, ID, etc., is she? So he wasn't very clever, was he, to be honest? Let's just look at these pictures. Yeah, this is Maddi, and that is the car. On April the 1st, Saturday morning, the family officially reported Maddi missing and organised a search with friends the same day. On Saturday at 2:25 p.m, the Winona Police Department announced her case as a missing person investigation and asked for the public's help in finding her. On April the 2nd, Sunday at 8:29 p.m, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension issued an endangered missing person alert for Maddi and released her description as 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighs 135 pounds, and has brown hair and hazel eyes. And then April the 3rd, Monday at 5:03, the Winona Police Department provided its first press release on the case Monday. She was last seen at her home in Winona, Minnesota, I presume that MN is. I'm not very good with initials. Madeline was supposed to show up for work that morning, but didn't. In addition, numerous calls and messages from friends and family went unanswered. Madeline was supposed to pick up her children, but she didn't. It's all out of character for her. So since then, they started then canvassing neighbourhoods, searching areas, attempting to collect surveillance video. Now, we covered this. I'm going to maybe show, I did quite a lot of videos about Maddi while she was missing. And, it really was, she was missing for such a long time. It really did feel, was she ever going to be found, because the terrain that they were searching was so remote and such a, they obviously would, they must have been going along the area that Adam had travelled in Maddi's van and, but it's so difficult. I think we've all come to realise recently how difficult it is to find a body. When somebody even when bodies are not hidden, bodies like in rivers, accidental deaths and things are hard to find. So trying to find a body that's been deliberately hidden is really, really difficult. And when the police, when bodies are found, sometimes it's by hikers, isn't it? Find bodies in woods and stuff like that. Bodies are found accidentally, because even when you're actually looking for them, it's so difficult to find them. Anyway, so then the Winona County Health and Human Services, so this was on April the 4th, said that the children need to be placed on 72-hour hold, and her disappearance may have been involuntary and suspicious. And they tried to pick up the children at his house, at Adam's house. He had the children at his parents' house. But they did not cooperate with officials, and they refused to permit social workers to meet with the children. And at one point, he took his 2-year-old son inside the house and locked the door. And the social workers said he was shouting expletives while he was inside with his son. Anyway, they did finally obtain the children. He was unwilling to grab their belongings, and the children left home with only the clothes they were wearing. You know, he doesn't care about those children. If he cared about those children, one, he wouldn't have murdered their mother, and two, he would have wanted them to have all their, he should have, realized that the reason why they had to go, and, made sure they had all their things with them. Because of course, I suppose he knew that the police knew there was no evidence suggesting that Maddi had left home on foot or used another vehicle. So the authorities were searching by foot and vehicle, using aircraft for aerial search and looking at nearby waterways in hopes of finding her. And police provided specific outlined areas in red for Winona Wilson Township and Hillsdale Township residents to search their property, wooded areas, outbuildings, vehicles and trails for anything suspicious. So they encouraged the public to help, which I think is good. But it wasn't the public that found Maddi in the end. But you can see it's a massive area. It's a very rough terrain as well. So where are we now? We're on April the 7th now. And she went missing in March. Let me just find the date again. So March the 31st. So she's been missing a week now. Well, I know it went on a lot longer than that. So a lot of volunteers turned up. I'm not going to read out everyone because it'll take too long. But yeah, when was she found then, finally? Oh, so I just want to read this out. So Winona County judge ordered Maddi's 5-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son should remain in the care of social services. So that's good. He wasn't allowed to have the children back. So it said they'll remain in their current placement this time. It's in their best interest. So then all the canines came out. They were all out looking. Search and rescue teams from Minnesota, Iowa and Wisconsin, and the public. Rivers, lakes, oh my God, just a massive search operation. April the 17th, April the 18th. So apparently there was flooding then somewhere along this time. So the law enforcement was warning volunteers to stay away from floodwaters as it's too dangerous. Gosh. So then a neighbour told Fox 9 he recalled seeing Maddi's minivan backed into the driveway the day she went missing, which was something he'd never seen before. Law enforcement has since placed cameras on the driveway of the home to keep a watch over the property. Let's have a little look at this video by Fox.
And 26-year-old mother from Winona has been missing now for more than 2 weeks, and searches for Madeline Kingsbury continue.
Fox 9's Paul Bloom live in Winona for us tonight. Paul, people there really keeping their eyes out for anything.
They sure are, Amy, Kelsey, everywhere you go around this river town. People are talking about the missing person case, desperately looking for any clues or for the young mother to finally bring her home. Now, one issue hampering that effort. Of course, Ian talked about the flooding. The Mississippi here is rising. Authorities telling volunteer searchers to stay off of and away from this water. It is just too dangerous.
I just want to help be a part of trying to help find her and do whatever I can.
We found Winona business owner Christine Windsor and her friend walking here along the swollen Mississippi Tuesday afternoon. Missing Maddie Kingsbury flyer stuck to a tree along their path. The women, mothers themselves, tell me everywhere they go, their eyes always open, their heads on a swivel, desperate to bring Maddie home.
Kind of just like look like over here, like in grass embankments or even alleys way. Like one day we're walking, we seen like the Winona boat, like police boat. So we kind of just like followed and moving down just to see, you know, but yeah, we're always looking.
The 26-year-old Kingsbury was last seen the morning of Friday, March 31st.
So you're very young, 26 years old, mother of 2 children. And there was a massive movement to find her. There was at this, you know, we were sort of in the UK, there was a lot of it was quite raw about Nicola Bulley, etc. But maybe you didn't realize this, you know, if you're a true crime follower, you normally get to hear high profile cases from, you know, all over the world, really, don't you? Because they're often on the mainstream news, aren't they? Even from other countries. I don't know if this was much on the news at the time, but it was a massive thing in America looking for her.
Just after dropping her children off at daycare.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Annie, for the Ko-fi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Is that for the trolls? Is that to express your annoyance about the trolls? Gosh.
With the children's father. Authorities have said Kingsbury returned to her house, but never made it to work that day. Her family reported her missing hours later. A neighbor tells Fox 9 he recalls seeing Maddie's minivan backed into the driveway that day, something he had never seen before. Authorities have since placed surveillance cameras in the driveway to keep watch over the property. Searches, both small and large, have been ongoing.
Oh, so the police put surveillance cameras up to make sure probably that he can't come back and do, because he'd moved to his parents then, hadn't he, to live, but keeping an eye on what was going on.
Going for a couple weeks now over significant swaths of southeastern Minnesota and the river itself. Flooding hampering that effort, making it dangerous for any searching on the water. Investigators refuse to publicly name a suspect or person of interest. The children's father has denied any involvement. Locals here just want some answers.
The whole community, me owning a business in town, everyone is very upset and everyone is pulled together, and we're doing our best as a community to help do whatever we can.
And law enforcement reports that smaller targeted searches by law enforcement continue each and every day based on leads, tips, new information.
Yeah, so they probably got, I mean, the thing is where, you know, in the beginning, it's like, yes, please come and help public, because, you know, they just don't know where to start. And then as time goes on and they get like, I don't know, phone data. I don't know if he took his phone with him when he went off to dump Maddi, or, you know, then they start doing these targeted searches, don't they? Or maybe somebody sees the van, or it gets picked up on a vehicle recognition thing. So they don't give up. They just keep going, and they were biding their time with Adam. You know, the children were safe, so they didn't have to worry about him having the children and doing something to the children. So the children were safe. They knew where he was. They were keeping tabs on him, but they didn't arrest him yet because they obviously didn't have enough proof of anything. They were determined to find, I think the police were convinced that Adam had done something to Maddi, but they wanted to find her remains first before they made their move.
That come into investigators, but it's important to note here, they have told property owners in 3 large southeastern Minnesota counties down here to check their property as the weather changes and the river moves around. So we were talking about a lot of territory. I also want to point out, Kelsey and Amy, a couple community support groups have been organized for later this week to help bring people together if they are in fact struggling with this missing mother that has really touched this community in southeastern Minnesota. For now, we're live along the river in Winona. Paul Bloom, Fox 9.
All right, Paul, thank you.
Okay, so then time went on. We've got April the 23rd, April 26th. Just keep searching, new searches made.
A double homicide in St. Paul has
let's
police,
just
family,
turn
and the
that off.
community.
Hang on.
A double homicide in St. Paul.
Yeah, keep asking for volunteers, just keep trying. So look, here on April the 29th, 100 volunteers participated in the search at a scout camp, a Girl Scout camp, and properties in Houston. And we were able to expand our search beyond our initial target areas and cover so much ground. Said Finding that still exists, this Finding Madeline Kingsbury Facebook page, I think I'm still on that page. Anyway, I'll talk about that later, about the family, etc. Thank you for sticking through the rain and wind, especially at the end with that downpour. Let's have a look. This is a little video. Oh, some pictures of them helping. Now, of course, the other thing that the police do sometimes do is they encourage people to search, and then while these searches are going on with the public, the police go sort of, what's the word, surreptitiously, if you like, to search other areas where they really think she might be because of phone data or whatever. And not only in Maddi's case, but in lots of cases they do that. They give the public something to do, distract them, if you like. And of course, they may have found something in those areas, but then the police themselves go to different areas where they may have some specific information. And that's a good way for them to do that without being noticed by all the other people who want to help. I mean, they're all well-meaning people. Everyone wanted to find Maddi. It's not anything bad, but sometimes it can interfere. And if the police are clever, they will use these volunteers to their advantage, won't they? So they had a community prayer service, shining a light for Madeline. But now we're coming to May now. So, you know, months, it's nearly 2 months, or it's a month and a half anyway. They had the vigil, 200 people attended. The family said, although we don't know Maddi's whereabouts, we're still grieving the time we're missing with her. Even on the brightest days, it still feels dark and gloomy without her here. Oh, how sad. Now, and although they knew the children were safe, the children were not with them. So I presume they had visitation with the children, but the children were still in social care from what I can gather. So, you know, it will have been difficult for the children too to not be around their family. Even on the brightest days, it still feels dark and gloomy without her here. I wake up from nightmares and realise they're not as terrifying as the nightmare I'm currently living through, said Maddi's friend Katie Colker during the hour-long prayer service. Oh, let's have a look. I'll have a little look at it.
Well, it has been more than a month since Maddie Kingsbury. Well, it has been more than a month since Maddie Kingsbury went missing in Winona. She was last seen dropping off her kids at daycare. Several large searches combing the area have been unsuccessful, and there's a $50,000 reward up for grabs for any information leading to answers. Tonight, family, friends, and community held a vigil for Maddie. Fox 9's Maury Glover was there as everyone is still hopeful that Maddie is found safe.
Well, Maddie's family moved the vigil from a park to the church behind me because of the rain. They say they want to keep Maddie in the public eye and tell the world a little bit more about her.
Although we do not know Maddie's whereabouts, we're still grieving the time we are missing with her. Even on the brightest days, it still feels dark and gloomy without her here. I wake up from nightmares and quickly realize they're not as terrifying as the nightmare I'm currently living through.
Now, family members organized this community gathering as a way to say thank you for the overwhelming support they've received from the Winona community. At least a couple hundred people turned out to pray for Maddie's safe return. They also wore blue ribbons in Maddie's honor and lit candles to be the shining light that brings Maddie home.
It's day 36 now, and you know, that may not seem like a long time to some people, but it's a really long time to us. And, you know.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised it's a lot. They feel it's a long time to, again, we talk about this all the time, don't we? It's that not knowing is worse than the knowing, really. Not knowing where Maddi is she okay? Is she being hurt? Is she being tortured? Is she in hospital? Is she lying somewhere ill? You know, all the things that must go through your head, even though I'm sure this family probably had an idea right from the beginning that this was to do with Adam.
We just want to keep her name and her face in the forefront of people's minds and make sure that everybody knows that we're still looking for her.
She's a very giving person and very welcoming, and I think this would make her real happy, you know, as a remembrance and one of hope. That's kind of what the gathering is tonight. It's one of hope.
Now, family members say they'll continue with organized searches on the weekends until they find out what happened to Maddi, but they don't want anyone else to forget about her because they won't. Reporting live in Winona, Maury Glover, Fox 9.
So, yeah. So then we're on May the 11th, targeted searches continuing. They searched the Mississippi River near Winona. They couldn't search the whole of the Mississippi River. I mean, it's massive, isn't it? So, God, they certainly put a lot of effort into looking for Maddi. You know, it's good, isn't it, to know that they did put all that effort into it. You know, they didn't, how long they would have carried on putting all that effort into searching for Maddi, I don't know. But in this, it's still, you know, a couple of months have gone by and they're still looking for her. And then what happens? So, let's convert here the county. Oh, so they brought in the district attorney, the district attorney, but they still would not identify a suspect or a person of interest. And then it was coming up to her 27th birthday, so they were encouraging people to put blue light bulbs in around their homes ahead of her birthday. And the GoFundMe, a fundraiser on GoFundMe said, I wonder if this will show us because the GoFundMe's, yeah, here it is, Light the Way Home from Madeline. And it just reached its target by the look of it. So this is not the normal GoFundMe. Let me just share it. This was a separate GoFundMe that they set up to light the community in blue, light the way home for Madeline as it was coming up to her birthday, bless her. So all the community put blue lights around their homes. Oh, it's just a shame she couldn't come home, isn't it? Anyway, wasn't for lack of trying, that's for sure, or lack of people caring. People cared, and they all lit up their homes. So May the 27th, they're getting organised to look along the Mississippi shorelines in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Not a water search because the river has already been actively searched, and this is shore searches. Just don't stop looking, never stop looking, always be aware. That's all the family were asking for, and the friends. Just keep looking. Let's have a look at this. Oh, I didn't go back to it. Hang on. So these were the searches of the shoreline of the Mississippi. Gosh, I mean, it'd be just so easy to walk past something important, you know. Oh, you're going to put me an advert on now, so I'll just stop it. So, on June the 1st, now we're in June, so she went missing in March. Comes to June, it's her 27th birthday, still no sign of her. Megan Kingsbury makes... Now, Megan, one of her sisters, she made quite a lot of TikTok videos about Maddi's disappearance. And she said recently that these videos really helped, you know, spread information and spread awareness, etc. But in that TikTok video, she just said, I don't have any updates as far as are being found. We haven't been told any new information. June the 5th comes and goes. So by now, Adam has been questioned by the police, but he's still not facing any charges or even being named as a suspect. And so then the children have come to the children now. By now, they're with Maddi's parents. But Adam Fravel, he's still trying to get them. Let's have a look at this.
It's been more than 2 months now since a Minnesota mother of two disappeared. It's been more than 2 months now since a Minnesota mother of two disappeared under suspicious circumstances.
A 2-day trial to decide who should care for Madeline Kingsbury's kids was set to start tomorrow, but that has now been canceled. Fox 9's Rose Schmidt is here and tells us the next steps in this custody battle. Rose?
Randy, Kelsey, the biological father of Maddie's children agreed to a temporary custody agreement, and the kids will remain with Maddie's parents. But court filings today indicate Adam Fravel is not giving up his quest for custody. Monday morning, Adam Fravel appeared in court as he fights for parental rights. He shares 2 children, aged 2 and 5, with Madeline Kingsbury. Following their mom's disappearance on March 31st, the young children were removed from Fravel's care because he does not have legal custody. Court documents show Fravel made an admission the children are in need of protective services. The Facebook group dedicated to finding Maddie Kingsbury, writing Monday, the children will remain with Maddie's parents temporarily until a custody hearing date is set. In the meantime, the case has been moved to family court, where Fravel has filed a formal custody petition. Police say he was the last person to...
Now, he likes his legal things, Adam Fravel. You'll find that in a minute when I tell you what's actually going on now. It's all about protecting him. He's always down the bloody courts making some sort of legal claim or whatever. God, you know, he likes to protect himself legally, that's for sure. And, you know, after what he's done, I don't know how he's got the bloody brass face to try and sue for custody of his kids after he's murdered their mother.
See Maddie before she disappeared. Fravel has not been charged with any crime, and he insists he's done nothing wrong. He says he and Maddie dropped the kids off at daycare. He told police he left Maddie's home in her minivan to run errands, and when he came back later, she was gone. Investigators have called Maddie's disappearance involuntary and suspicious. As this custody battle continues, Maddie Kingsbury's loved ones are planning a benefit on Saturday. All the proceeds will go toward caring for her children. Randy.
All right, Rose, thank you.
So now, so you can see that from they were doing a benefit there for the kids, and her family and friends, they were constantly trying to keep Maddie in the public eye, and
vehicles were involved in a crowd.
The whole situation. Now, finally, we come to June the 7th. Finally, someone was looking down on this policeman, a Fillmore County deputy, on Wednesday, on June the 7th, Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. A Fillmore County deputy was on a remote stretch of Highway 43, just north of Mabel, Minnesota, near the border of Iowa, investing a tip related to electronic evidence. So I'm presuming that Adam Fravel made some sort of a stop there, you know, for a length of time, maybe that came up on the phone data. The deputy checked a wooded area next to the gravel road and found Maddie's body in some brush. It's like a miracle. It's like a miracle. Winona police said the body was found using information generated during the Madeline Kingsbury investigation, and law enforcement positively identified the body on Thursday, June the 8th. And so sad as that is, that it was Madeline's body, at least she was found. The general area had previously been searched by law enforcement and volunteers, but Maddi's body was concealed in such a way that her body was not visible from the road. So that's what I was saying earlier. Some of these places you can see, you could search them over and over again, and you'd still have to go back and search them again, wouldn't you? Because they're, even just concealed with a few branches and leaves and things like that, just so difficult to check, because I suppose you do like a radius, but the body is likely just outside that radius. Anyway, they found her, and at 5:20 that same day, Adam Fravel, the father of her 2 children, was arrested without incident at a residence in Mabel, Minnesota. He was booked into Winona County Jail on probable cause of intentional second-degree murder in relation to Maddi's death. So her body was not found on property belonging to the Fravel family, but it was just within several minutes. So here he is. Twonk.
First, though, tonight there's been a major development in the case of a Minnesota mother of 2 who disappeared in March.
Within just the last 2 hours now, the father of Madeline Kingsbury's children was arrested. Our BC O'Neill joins us from the Fox 9 Live Center tonight. BC, tell us what we know so far.
Tim and Kelsey, Adam Fravel was the last person to see Maddi alive more than 2 months ago. And tonight, jail records out of Winona County reveal Fravel was taken into custody and is being held on a murder charge. Kingsbury was missing since March 31st after dropping her kids off at daycare with Fravel. He initially told police he left Maddi's home that morning in her minivan to run errands. And when he came back later, she was gone. Her phone, jacket, and wallet were still inside. In the months since, there have been multiple mass searches across Winona and Fillmore counties for Maddi, but they've turned up nothing. Fravel has also spent the last couple of months fighting for custody of his 2 children. And Fox 9 was there on Monday, as you can see, as he entered court for a
This was when he attended court for the custody hearing. Good God, in Spain we have this expression, que cara tiene, what a face he has, or what a cheek, I suppose we say in English, don't we? What a cheek to go and apply for custody of his children, knowing full well that he has murdered their mother, left them motherless. It just horrible man. Horrible man. And it turns out, of course, it's coming up to the trial now, we'll get to it more, but he had been abusive to Maddi in the past.
Custody trial. He ended up agreeing to a temporary deal, and that is to keep the kids with the grandparents. And it's important to note, Fravel has denied any involvement in Maddi's disappearance, and as of right now, no formal charges have been filed, but we do expect an update from officials very soon, and it's also still unclear what evidence law enforcement has collected regarding Maddi's disappearance and how Fravel may be connected. We'll certainly keep you updated as soon as we...
So basically then that's what happened. So let's come to the present day now. So his trial is coming up. So thank you again, Admit, for that. Hi, Heather. Yeah, where's your note, Heather? Where's your note? I don't know if you were watching my channel this time when Maddi Kingsbury went missing. I don't know when you started watching, but anyway, the trial's coming up for her partner. And so we've just gone over sort of what happened, how it all unfolded, because Madeline Kingsbury was missing for quite a long time, quite a few months, but finally was found, and then her partner was immediately charged with her murder. So his case is coming up. The case is coming up next month. So as I was saying about this guy, he loves to go to court, and he loves to make legal demands. So he has demanded that the case not be held locally. So he went to court and made a request that the court would be held in a different county. And he was granted this request. And the thing is, that has made it all even more difficult for the family, because the family all live locally. And they live locally, and they've got to now uproot them to go and watch this trial. They've got to go uproot themselves and go to a completely different county, because he wanted the trial to be heard outside of where it happened, because I suppose people know him there and might turn up. So it just makes me annoyed that he can do that. How do they have the right to say where their trials are held? It should be convenient for the family, not convenient for him. You know, do you see what I'm saying? Why have the family? So the family are still having to continue with the GoFundMe. Now let's have a look at the normal GoFundMe for Maddi. So they use their GoFundMe for you know, posters and searches, etc. during the time. But now, of course, they're going to need to stay out. They're going to need to stay in a different place. They're going to, you know, instead of being able to be at home and go to the trial. So look, they've got $2,435 in their in the GoFundMe for the kids. Let's see. My name is Nick, and I'm a close friend of the family. Yeah, I don't know about that, because I don't know. You know, I prefer if it was the family, to be honest, rather than donate to Light the Way Home. You're supporting Light. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure which is the official GoFundMe, to be honest. So, well, you know, I'm not that struck on GoFundMes, but I think you know, they are going to need money, because if they're, I mean, apart from, yeah, to help bring their kids up, of course, but if he's going to have his trial out of state, out of county, they're going to, you know, they can't travel every day to this trial, so they're going to have to go and stay somewhere away from home. You know, so anyway, I just think it's another selfish thing from him, because he's pleading not guilty, of course. So he's pleading not guilty. So, you know, instead of he's got no morals. This guy, he's going to put the family through the trial. Not only that, he's going to make the trial more. What's the word? He's going to make it more inaccessible for the family, for him. You know, it is good. I understand that, Seffi. It's good in a way, because I know that sometimes people, you know, we've got to be careful with trials, haven't we? Even when it's virtually 100% certain someone's guilty, because we don't want them to be, you know, to not go according to plan and then be kicked out or whatever. But I just thought it was a little bit unfair to me, because, yeah, to me it was unfair, because, you know, her family, the family of the victim, they've got to displace themselves, you know, to go to this trial. But anyway, so I just wanted to tell, now this trial, quite often, of course, in America, trials are televised, aren't they? Well, this one's not going to be televised, because, and this time it's for her family want the privacy, and they applied for an injunction for it not to be televised for their privacy. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's fair enough, isn't it? Right, let's have a look at, I just want to have a look at this little video. Well, to me, I agree, David. I think that if you were innocent, you would be doing everything you could to help the family, wouldn't you? You know, that is your child's family. You know, at the end of the day, they're the family that are looking after your children. And if you had nothing to hide, you would be trying to make it as easy for them as possible. You know, just go through the trial. I've got nothing to hide, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, I think it's...
Adam Fravel, the man accused of murdering Winona mother Madeline Kingsbury, in court today for his final hearing before his murder trial. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Brock Burgee.
And I'm Caitlin Alexander. That's set to start October 7th in Mankato. The trial was moved out of Winona in a request by the defense. We find KGTC's Olivia Pronzinski in Winona, where the pre-trial hearings are happening. Olivia, you were in court all day and heard some tough testimony. What did Madeline's friends have to say?
Yeah, Brock and Caitlin, another long day in court as the defense and prosecution teams prepare for the murder trial coming up in October. Now, we heard from those close to Kingsbury as they spoke about the alleged abuse by Adam Fravel. 1 month to go until Adam Fravel's murder trial, bringing up new feelings for Madeline Kingsbury's loved ones.
Nervous. I definitely don't want to have to do that again.
During the pretrial hearings, the prosecution zeroing in on domestic violence Kingsbury allegedly faced while in a relationship with Adam Fravel. Close friend Holly Stampshore testifying she observed bruising on Kingsbury's neck. Stampshore staring Fravel down Wednesday as she took the stand.
I wanted today for him to know how deeply this all means to all of us, how serious this is.
Other close...
God, so young again, you know, they're all young, so young, weren't they? And yeah, if you were the friend or family, God, you would want to be at that trial, wouldn't you? You would be, your eyes would be boring into his soul. You know, you couldn't, if that was a member of my family or my friend, as long as the family were okay with me being there, they won't be able to keep me away from that trial. You could have it in bloody Timbuktu, and I would still be at that trial, just making him feel uncomfortable. He's probably hoping that less people will turn up that are against him.
Friends of Kingsbury recounting video calls where Fravel allegedly pushed or hit her.
We are not going to let him get away without consequences.
Fravel's defense team keeping a low profile when it comes to media, exiting a back door of the courthouse. How are you feeling headed in trial next week? Any plans for your client to testify at trial? Those close to the Kingsburys possibly feeling optimistic headed into trial.
Ready to get things moving and ready for this chapter to be moving forward.
Now, Holly Stampshire tells me that the donations for Madeline Kingsbury's family is still open. Those go towards legal fees and also towards lodging for the trial that could last up to a month and maybe even more. Now, if you want to learn more about that, you can visit our website, ktdc.com. Live in Winona, Olivia Pronzinski, KTDC News.
All right, Olivia, thank you.
When you visit Lewiston Auto, you'll work with just one person throughout your car buying experience.
So yeah, this is sort of where we're at. Oh, did I? What did I do? Hang on. Did I show it? Did I share that? I've got this horrible feeling I might not have shared that. Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. Okay, so now let's have a look at the. I've got the document here somewhere that he applied for. Got it somewhere. Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, sorry, that the family applied for, not him. To it won't open. Okay. Oh God. So let me just. So the family put in a special request for the case not to be televised. They asked no request should be granted for audio and video coverage. And that is the family asking for that because they want privacy. So fair enough. But of course, you know, I mean, that's their their choosing. You know, it's the wishes of the victim's family. So that apparently some new rule is coming in America, which includes a specific requirement for the court to consider the wishes of the victims when deciding whether to allow visual and audio coverage. So they've applied. They've applied that it shouldn't be covered. So I think unless they actually apply, the rules are in America, as far as I know. Somebody might know different, but as far as I know, the hello, like the big dog's come down. Hello, Tia. Hello. She's always really happy in the morning. Oh, I thought she'd pulled the wire out then. These court cases in America, as you know, can be filmed, but now apparently if the actual victims or the victim's family want to apply for it not to be filmed, they can put in that application. I don't think the perpetrator or the accused, shouldn't call them the perpetrator because they're not guilty, of course, until the end of the trial. It's awful, really, isn't it? Because you do tend to presume people are guilty sometimes, especially in cases like this, because you know that the police, you know, wouldn't have arrested him, wouldn't have gone to court unless they had, you know, proper evidence against him. So, but yeah, so it won't be filmed, so we won't be able to watch the trial. Now, I hope you didn't mind me going over this again. I think it's important, you know, with the trial coming up, it's important that we remember Madeline, and just hope she gets justice, whatever that is. Now, I was going to show on I've got quite a lot of videos. God, I was looking at my YouTube channel. It needs a good tidy up because some of the videos that I did like right in the early days, you know, that are either the video's not very good or the thumbnail is awful or whatever. You know, I could do with that either deleting them or just changing the thumbnail so it's a better thumbnail. But I had a little tribute of her, and I'm just looking for it. See if I can find it. Of course, the thumbnails are so rubbish, I can't tell which is which. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, so a dad released a video of her when she was a little girl, which was quite emotional at the time. This was when she was missing. Let's have a look. Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. I'm just. He is massive. It's a massive.
Yeah. How come you just staring at that, not saying anything? Yeah, when Lisa, can I tell them something?
Okay,
And
okay, go ahead and talk to the camera. Back up, though. Back up. Okay, talk to the camera.
You're Lisa.
Yes, dear.
There's a video in the camera. Talk to the people.
Okay, talk to the people.
Okay. Let me give you a tip.
So this was a video that a dad released of her while she was missing, you know, just to sort of... Thing is, when someone's missing like that, the family, they want to make people feel of them as a person, see the person they are. They're not just a name, you know, and this is what a dad did, release this.
And Lisa, if you... Wait a minute.
Oh.
Hurry up, we're wasting time. Okay. Wasting film.
When you have a camera, you need to say something, and you don't need to stare at one thing, just at once.
Okay.
That would be like really dumb.
Oh. So yeah, that's it. Just a little short video of this is his actual Facebook. You know, there were so many missing people. I'm just okay. Thank you for watching. Live and love very carefully, and may your God go with you. Thank you. I thought I had a little tribute video. Anyway, I'll find it and put it on another time. So there you go. That's what's happening so far with the Madeline Kingsbury case. So it's took a little while for the trial to come up, hasn't it? You know, it's took over a year, but it's coming up in October. So justice for Madeline. Let's hope the right result comes up. And of course, much more evidence will come up near to that time. I don't know if they're in the discovery phase. Maybe there is evidence that you can send off for. But anyway, I don't know, to be honest. I've not tried to get any of that evidence. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. Justice for Madeline, and love to, that's it, October the 7th, Steffi. Yep. Yeah, I did mention that, I think, at the beginning, but I don't think I knew the exact date. I knew it was October, but not necessarily the exact date. So we'll see, but it's not going to be filmed because the family don't want it to be filmed. So we just get the reports at the end of the day as to what's happened. And I mean, will he end up pleading guilty? I mean, surely the evidence, by now won't his defense surely know what evidence they've got against him? You know, so let's hope that maybe in the end he will just plead guilty. That would make things a lot easier for the family, though they'll want to know what's happened, I suppose. Okay, so I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your, I nearly said may your dog go with you. That's because the dog's right here. May your God go with you, and your dog too, if you've got one, or your cat, or your hamster, or whatever it is you've got. Thank you so much. Oh, and I just want to say thank you again. Hang on. To Admit, who bought me a super sticker. Thank you so much. And also to Annie, who bought me a coffee. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you really soon. Bye.